Brian, your thoughts on the lasting cloud, if you will, of the Melania speech. Can they shake it tonight with a speech or two?
Yeah, I don't see this sticking for very long. First of all, she's not the nominee. Had it been the nominee who did that, big story. She's not used to speaking in public. I don't think anybody ever thought, Ted, that she was the one who wrote the speech, even though their camp said she did. I think it has its own news cycle, but I think by tonight, after you've heard from some other people and the fact that Trump today has been put over the top, I think it'll move on.
But the fact that this happened leads some people to believe that this is another indication that the Trump candidacy is not being served by his supporters and his team, and that they're not able to pull this off at the convention. Well, people may make the leap then, can he really be the president of the United States?
Well, I've been saying for quite some time, and we know this from contacts around the nation, is that he does not have a very deep campaign team. And so who knows how many people worked on this speech as an example, but it's an indicator of not having enough, as the military would say, boots on the ground. And that's going to continue to not serve him well. He's got to staff up.
Right.
And the real question is, why is he letting Melania take the hit for this? Why isn't he saying this is the speechwriter that made the mistake, or this is the campaign staff person who didn't vet this properly?
Right, they may just be thinking that let's try and get through this as quickly as possible and then look forward to other opportunities like we've already seen this afternoon. It was dramatic to see his children putting him over the top during the delegate count, and during that roll call there were no problems. There was some speculation there could be.
Well, I think the floor whips did a great job, and when you're at a convention, there are people that have specific assignments, and one of them is to rein in that kind of thing. The presence rather of the speaker, Paul Ryan, had a lot to do with that, and just generally wanting to coalesce around the certain nominee had a lot to do with it.
Conventions build from the beginning, and they move towards Thursday when the nominee takes the stage. Here we have a very slow start because of the Melania situation, but tonight they have an opportunity. What needs to happen tonight with the speakers, with Chris Christie and the Trump children?
Well, I mean, he's bringing out all of the more recognizable Democratic or Republican Party brands, and they need to stand up and full-throatedly endorse him. I think, to me, one of the really interesting things that's happening with this convention is it shows how, you know, kind of the predictable theater of political conventions happens even if you have a really unconventional nominee, and I think that's what we're seeing happen over the course of the week.
Which may serve him well in that he has been so unpredictable. People probably want a little bit of the status quo.
Well, I think you're right, Ted. I think and it's a great point. You know, the convention's going along just as conventions do. When the vice president nominee, Mike Pence, comes, he is very mainstream, and he will be another voice that kind of brings it back to kind of normalcy as people know these conventions.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about Mike Pence, there's a clear opportunity to galvanize the party and get some of those independents, people on the fence, not sure if they trust Donald Trump. Is this a critical, maybe more so than other vice presidential addresses during a convention addressed by Governor Pence? Do you think?
I don't know. I think the vice presidential address is always relatively critical because it really is the last step towards the final nominee. I think it'll be interesting to see how Pence deals with any of the potential differences in he and Trump's worldviews, and how he manages to assure everyone that they are on the same page.
You agree?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think he has a critical role because of the reputation of Donald Trump to go off script. The fact that he doesn't go off script, and if you have seen a couple of their interactions,
like the 60 Minutes interview,
that would be a good example. He clearly was the steady voice, the steady person in the room.
But it was odd to see them together because he was almost looking to Donald Trump for permission at points to speak.
I thought that was the uncomfortable part of that interview, but when he did speak and you listen to what he said, it was very conventional, and I think that will help the Republican base feel very good about him. And by the way, he's very popular, as we know, in Washington, D.C.
Absolutely. All right, Brian Sobel, as always, thank you for coming in. And Keely McBride from the University of San Francisco, thank you as well for the discussion. We'll be talking a lot more about this as the week continues.